So why Locs, you say? I did a lot of thinking and soul searching, trying to make a decision as to why I felt that Locs would be something that I could embrace. I've watched a lot of people make that journey through social media, and as recently watched my daughter transform from her natural loose hair, to locks. And over the last, I think, 2 years, my life has been evolving into a more spiritual person, embracing a lot of things about my culture, my spiritual life with God. Finally, I believe, being okay to be totally okay in this skin. I remember as a child, born in the 60s in Tennessee. I think it was probably one of the last states to actually move past the segregation movement. I remember being a young child, around 4 years old, riding on the bus in the back with my mom. And at that age, you really feel like that's, the way life is supposed to be. Not really knowing at that age, because it was because of the color of my skin, that I wasn't able to ride at the front of the bus, and I had to enter and exit from the back. Also, going downtown, that's what we used to call it when I was a little girl. We would go downtown, and there was a store called Woolworths, and some of you may be familiar with that store. And we would go and have lunch after we shopped, because at that time, 60s and early 70s, most people went downtown to shop. They didn't have the big shopping malls that we have today. So we would go downtown, and after shopping, we would stop at Woolworths and have lunch. And remembering that there was a different part of the counter that we as Black people could not sit, and not being able to really discern between that as a young girl, but as I've grown older, understanding that. So realizing all that our Black culture has gone through, even remembering that a lot of the things that we watched on television were shows that did not emulate or depict people of color. Most of the people I grew up watching were white people, and actually loving those shows, and actually loving some of the stars that are in there, and mourning the loss of a lot of them that we've lost in recent years, but that's what we grew up watching. And coming to terms with the fact that we don't have to be ashamed of being who we are. Society don't accept a lot of things that are naturally us. So as we grew up, we learned to transform our hair to fit into the society that we lived in. And we went from hot combing our hair from the stove to finding a mixed product that we could put into our hair to make our hair straight. And I think late 70s, there was a big movement of Blackness, and you started seeing afros again a lot, and people embracing that culture. And then it went back to the perm society, and I just think going through a lot of those stages myself, and loving my hair and all of those, I'm not saying anything against that, but when I think from a deeper or a spiritual level, I think about how God created me. And I've seen and heard and read a lot of forums where women of color are having discussions about our natural roots, and being sad to hear a lot of them say or state that some people shouldn't wear their hair natural. Everybody is not meant to be natural. And to me, I often said, if it wasn't meant to be, and that wasn't meant to be my natural state of hair, then why did God give it to me? So actually sitting down and really putting some deep thought into that, I'm like, yeah, technology, knowledge has come into and entered this world. But the things that God did when he created you, the way he made you, the color of your skin, the depth and the width of my lips and my nose, those were things that God gave me. The way that my hair naturally grows from my scalp, other things that God gave me. And loving it is what I should do in honor of him creating me. And I went from everything from perms to even wearing wigs, or I've never really worn, or extensions. I've never put that in my head. But doing that, when I have to be honest with myself, I have always done that to really fit into the society that this world said that I had to do. I see women now fighting for the right to be able to wear their hair in the natural state that it grows from their head. Watching a news reporter lose her job because she decided to do a big chop and wear her natural afro versus the weave, the straight weave that society feels is acceptable in today's world. I think anything that's neatly groomed should be acceptable. It's just like anything else, the style of the clothes you decide to wear. I think as long as you're neat and you're clean, then that's the only thing that society should care about. I should be able to embrace and embark on the journey and my cultural journey if I choose. So watching my daughter transform, and that's just something special in itself because my daughter is 24. And I have to say that out of my 3 children, I always call her my flower child because she is the most earthly and cultural person. She's never bought into the society of materialism. She never thought that she had to fit into society by wearing labels or buying the next popular item. She's always just been herself. And I love that about her. And learning through her, that it's okay to allow my hair to naturally grow. And thinking about when I was a young girl, not liking it because everything around me said that it wasn't acceptable. So therefore, I trained myself not to accept it and didn't like it at all. But as I see the curliness of my hair growing from my scalp, I love it now. And I'll often ask myself, why didn't I as a child? It's just because that's what I was taught. From everything that I saw, everything that I was around told me that this wasn't acceptable. So I want to take this journey, and it's something that I feel is going to be beautiful. And I've done research for the last 30 days, and I have weighed all the pros and cons. I even watched the ugly phase, as they called it, and it's when your hair is budding and trying to find itself, trying to find its natural growth pattern, and often asking myself, how will I adjust to that in my work environment, because I am in a corporate environment, and wondering if that's going to be acceptable. And I made a decision that I will talk to some of my superiors to make sure that I don't have to run into that problem. But if it is, finding a way to make it balance and either wear it in a more conservative way by maybe pulling it all together in a bun, or maybe still wearing half wigs until it grows to a length that it can be managed. But this is a journey that I don't expect anybody to understand. I've even had people say, why don't you try these different things before you naturally allow your hair to go to this state, because it's more of a semi-permanent type of state. And having my hair is pretty much this length in itself, in its natural loose state. It's just maybe not this full. I've been natural for 6 years. I went natural in 2010. So around April or May of 2017, it will be 7 years that I've been natural. And loving it. Loving every step of that. I've had the pros and the cons. I've been mad at my hair because of the elements, humidity, and things like that. But those are just things that we have to deal with. I often think about our ancestors and all of the things that they had to do to deal with that, because they dealt with the same things, the humidity and the weather changes and dryness. It's just something that I feel that will represent my culture. And I'm not wanting to be ashamed of that, not wanting to hide it, but wanting to share it, to help Black women and our young Black girls that are growing up to be okay with allowing themselves to be who they are and to look the way they look, the way that they were born, the way things naturally grow. If they so desire to make changes in their life, to not allow it to be because of what they saw growing up. And I think every parent, which I'm guilty of, should share that with their children, to let them learn to love their color, love their culture, love the things that naturally develops in them, embracing it. Because who said that being of none color is the perfect way or the most beautiful way? I've done a lot of research across the internet and just researching different cultures, not just the Black culture, but the Indian culture and the Asian culture, and looking at all the diverse beauty that this world has. And a lot of these cultures outside of our community embrace who they are, and they naturally dress the way that their culture dress. They wear their hair in the natural state that they wear their hair. And I find sometimes that our culture is the only culture that feels that we can't be who we are. But I want to represent that group of women who says it's okay. So I want you guys to follow me on this journey. This is not something that I feel that I'm trying to get any popularity from, but it's more on the sense of educating women of the Black culture to love their culture. There's a lot of women out here, don't get me wrong, that are embracing that and that sharing that. And I'm joining that movement. I have vast friends and associates outside of my community. And I would hope that they would love me in the state that I am, and that I don't have to look a certain way to fit their thought process of what they would want in a friend. So I ask you guys to follow me on this journey. This will be a separate vlog from my normal vlogs. I am in the process of putting myself in a more healthy state. My hair for the change, because my hair will be different. And I was looking for a loctician, and I decided to start my locks myself. And if I need grooming or help with it as that process continues, then I would search out a loctician. And I'm going to start my lock journey in March, probably the latter part of March. And I'm going to start it on a two-strand twist. I'm going to twist my hair, get a grid pattern, and two-strand twist my hair. I'm going to take a day. I'm going to get up early, maybe one Saturday morning, like 7 o'clock, and I'm going to work on my hair that entire day and get my hair twisted and let my journey begin. But from now to that latter part of March, I have embarked on a healthy lifestyle, because your hair does need to be healthy. And taking vitamins for my hair, and making sure that I properly wash it and keep my scalp in good, healthy condition so that it'll be able to transform. And I'm excited. I don't know. I feel like a different woman. Because I have made some decisions in my life that have separated me from a lot of people in my life. And being more of a spiritual person, sharing my spiritual journey, my love for people, my love for God, and not being ashamed of that, being okay with it, being okay with the rejection, being okay with people separating themselves from me because they don't like the changes in me. but feeling like that I'm empowered to speak about love and life and acceptance. And that is what I'm doing right now, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope you guys will continue to follow me and share these videos. And it'll be the excitement, the love, the joy, the struggle, all of that inclusive. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you have a very nice day.